Hi guys, it's Friday and we have some serious discussion to do. So I figured the best way to do this would probably be to just go through video by video and respond individually to what each of you said, if that's okay. First of all though, I kind of wanted to clarify what I meant when I said that I generally try to avoid girliness. Basically, I don't go out of my way to be girly, whatever that means. I guess you could say a lot of it is just because I'm lazy. I mean, for instance, I haven't shaved my legs since September or October, and I honestly cannot be bothered to do it now. I mean, I guess I'll get around to it at some point, but if the weather doesn't improve and I keep wearing trousers, then there's no point. Also, I'm always really proud when I do something that defies gender norms. For example, I've done karate since I was 9, and I'm always really proud to reveal that fact. But so yes, that's I guess what I meant. I assume that that was what you understood by it, but I wanted to clarify that a little bit. Moving on to responses. James, you are first up. I guess the main thing I have to say to you is that I thought it was interesting / slightly irritating that you said that it's okay to be girly. I don't think anything's wrong with being girly either. I just don't particularly like it, generally. I think it's more trouble than it's worth. And more specifically, I'd like to point out that I don't think it necessarily makes more sense for a girl to be girly just because she has a vagina. Mostly, I just think that we should be whoever we want to be and not follow gender norms just because they are gender norms and our sex happens to fit in and be associated with that gender norm. Sex and gender are complicated topics, folks. And finally, I totally agree about the happy thing. Do what makes you happy. There's no other better motivation in life. No other better reason to do stuff. Spencer, your turn. Generally, I agreed with pretty much everything you said. I do agree that girls have a greater range of style options, and I'm using the inverted commas a lot. I'm sorry, I just feel like all these titles and stuff have to be taken with a grain of salt because they are social constructs, and I know I use that a lot too, but so much of our lives is based on society. We should get Caroline to talk to us about this. Caroline, if you're watching, leave an insightful comment. But returning to the idea of the range of styles, I always loved the fact that I can wear a dress, and I can also wear a tie. Probably not at the same time, but definitely on subsequent days. As for girls having a wider definition of what's attractive in a guy as opposed to vice versa, I'm not really sure about that. I feel like each person has their own definition of what's attractive in another person, and often it's something we can't really explain. And finally, Jeff, it's your turn. Listen up. What I wanted to say to you was that I thought it was really interesting how you told us about how you'd grown up with girls, because I felt like, for me, a lot of my childhood was the opposite to yours. Yes, I have grown up with a mother and a father, but I always lived in a very gender-neutral household. But anyway, as a little kid, I think I always played a lot more with the guys. I know that in kindergarten the game we played was Boys Chase Girls, and I have no idea why we played that, but often I would switch teams and chase the girls because, I don't know, I always like to be on the team with the guys. I would agree with you, Jeff, in that guys are generally limited in what they can wear and what they can do, jobs included. Like, you don't find so many guys who are nurses or elementary school teachers. Two more things. Number one, even the fact that you say, of course I don't want to wear a skirt, reveals something very profound about the gender roles, clothing thing in society. I think that there are a significant number of guys who would like to wear skirts. I mean, a minority, of course, but definitely a significant minority. Number two, insurance prices. I know I said this in a comment, but I wanted to say it out loud. Yes, they are sexist. Yes, it is kind of unfair, but it is also based on statistics. And insurance has to be based on something because it is based on a perceived risk. And the fact is that I think more accidents happen with young male drivers than do with young female drivers. And that's just a fact. Okay, I hope I managed to edit that into some kind of coherent discussion. Now we will move on to the matter of the 49th parallel. I was thinking about this the other day and I came to the conclusion that Our channel name is still absolutely valid. Cross the 49th is no longer a noun, it is a verb. Our goal is to cross the 49th. James, I agree with Spencer. I think that you should have pinpointed his engineering skills probably more than his living in Pennsylvania. It is Pennsylvania, right? Because he could make something really cool to push the continent. And then Jeff could hack into the US computer system thing and get all the power and stuff to push the continent. And I can provide provisions because I work in a supermarket. Yay. And I realize that this is probably really long now. I'm sorry, Spencer, I have neither time nor ideas for derailing the conversation. You can do that tomorrow in your challenge video. And on that note, I will see Spencer doing a challenge tomorrow.